Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX. Like every Wednesday at 8 a.m. UTC, I am here with you and my guest to analyze and to speak about what's happening on MultiversX. Thank you very much for being here. And before we start, of course, I count on you to like, to subscribe, to share the link. And of course, this show is interactive. So feel free to ask your questions on the chat, to say your word, to have your take, and yeah, to give your opinion about what we will talk about today. Um, about the program today, I will be joined in a few minutes by ROK, the co-founder of Boogas, the most weighted NFT collection on MultiversX. And then we'll all together analyze the latest MultiversX news together. And I will give you my opinion about them, unfiltered and uncompromising, as usual. But first of all, I would like to thank the sponsors, the partners of this show, and I will start by talking about eApes. Why eApes? Because I just changed my profile picture. Um, as you can see, I don't know if you can see here, but you can see here. They launched their side collection on Solana. And yeah, they are exploring this very new ecosystem, and they made a partnership with Magic Eden. As you can see, it's more or less the same collection, but with new attributes, but the same art. So if you like the previous one, you don't like this one. And yeah, so good luck to them, and thank you for the support of this for months now. And I would like also to talk to you about Hatam. Hatam is a platform on which you can lend, you can borrow, you can liquid stake, you can also you can mint some USH, which is the first native stable coin on MultiversX. And yeah, if you own some of their token, the HTM token, you can get a boost on your yield. And so, yeah, you can generate some passive income, very interesting. So, of course, you can find all of their links in description on YouTube and on every podcast platforms. So yeah, thank you very much, eApes and Hatem, for your support. Means a lot to me. So what I propose is to start by receiving my guest of today. ROK, are you ready? I can see you are. So welcome, ROK. How are you?
I'm doing booktastic. Firstly, mic check, all good.
Yeah, mic is okay, webcam is okay. So there's just one thing that is not okay with me. So
You need a cap.
oh. Okay, now it's fine.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's been a crazy ride up until now. A lot of, let's say, sleepless nights, and I actually mentioned this recently. I actually ended up with deep vein thrombosis. So good news is I've been to the hospital a few times now, and it's getting better, already improving. So note to everyone here: if you're pushing, if you're working a lot, make sure to actually stand up. So, and then actually, look after yourself. I kind of neglected myself a little bit. I thought I was doing enough, but in the end, yeah.
As I always say, building a project is not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Marathon. Yeah.
And so if you don't take care of your body, one day or another, it will give up.
Yeah.
So the
But
title of this interview is no give up, no fade. So we'll speak about this. It will be very interesting. But for those who doesn't know you, live here on X, Twitch, and YouTube, but also in replay on YouTube and podcasts. Can you just start by introducing yourself? So, who are you, and what did you do up in Web3 and maybe NFTs before in a very
mhm. Sounds good, man. So my name is Alex in real life, ROK Boogas in Web3. I have been a part of the culture, a part of the MultiversX family now for over 4 years. They flew by like one day. I have been a part of countless communities. I have been an investor in loads of different projects. And I guess at some point, I really wanted to create something of my own to be able to invest in me and be able to accomplish my lifetime goal, which was launching a brand. And at the same time, the co-founder, James, reached out to me with the idea for Boogas. And that is how we started the journey together. That was now over 2.5 years ago. So for those of you that don't know, Boogas is a storytelling brand about the Boogas, prehistoric characters that unexpectedly end up in modern day times. We're all about community engagement and just pushing the story forward, right? Like adapting to modern day times, making sure that the story is relatable and the whole characters and IP
We'll
inclusive.
speak about it,
So
but just I wanted to maybe know more about you. But yeah,
yeah.
you've
Mhm.
been in MultiversX for years, and yeah, you've been on different projects as a member, as an active member, and then you decided to launch your own NFT collection. It's a Booga. So what's like in a few words, but what's the story behind Boogas? Like in just 1 minute, give us, I don't know, like the elevator pitch. So how could you like explain Boogas in a very short way? And after we'll deep dive, of course.
Yeah, sure. So just going back to your first question with regards to me, because I guess I didn't fully answer that yet. Um, like I have seen a lot, and I really wanted to make sure that we have something that people can be proud of holding on MultiversX. There's good projects here, but I felt like there was a niche that was ready to be filled, and that is a fully animated IP collection on the chain that can grow out in the Web2 space as well. And I guess just do it in a way that one is achievable, two, really nail down the quality so that the IP is strong enough to withstand, let's say, everything that we want to achieve with the brand, right? Like, and alongside that, you have Boogas the brand, with the dope trademarks and everything else, and the MVP products that we are going to launch. The brand Boogas, like how it originated and where we are and what we want to achieve. So the main mission here is, we want the brand to be relatable, and the way we see things rolling out in the next 1-2 years time, a lot of people will wake up in a new world, right? A lot of people will feel like modern day caveman, right? So we want to be able to reach those people not only through Web3, but like our main mission now will be focusing on Web2 socials, growing out the brand, growing out the story, as I believe that the brands with the best stories will win, right? Like if you really can nail down that, then you've got a massive chance at expansion, at creating enough leverage so that I can go to all of my friends that have those businesses and say, guys, this is what I have, this is the IP I have, this is the story I have. Okay, how can we integrate with all of these best brands, that I personally know the founders of, right? And then I can make really, really cool collaborations with them and then grow it over time. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to do everything ourselves. I want to work with experts in different fields to utilize our IP and their products, right? Because that is how we can grow exponentially. That is how we can really put the IP and the story into, a lot of different people's homes and just be able to grow it out.
Okay, it was supposed to be a 1 minute speech elevator, but actually you're not a very good student. You don't respect the rules. But I got it.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. You know what? This is just because you told me you only have like 30 minutes and maybe a little bit more. So that's why I want to structure.
Compress it. No problem.
I think we got the point. Build together, build with others to tell a story, not just to sell a product. And yeah, to maybe improve the feeling of immersion and of belonging of the community. And this is something that is interesting. As far as I know, on MultiversX, we don't have a strong NFT collection. We had some. When I say strong, it's not just on MultiversX. It's a collection. When you see it, you straight away think about MultiversX. So I'm not sure we have this at the moment. So we have EAPs, of course, because it's one of the biggest, one of the oldest. But then I'm not sure they yet succeeded in representing the multiverse ecosystem outside. For example, in terms of meme coins, we have something like Brett on Base, we have Bonk on Solana, and when you see this, it's directly related to the blockchain on which they are. So why did you decide to launch an NFT collection and not a meme coin collection, for example? Of course, the timeline was not exactly the same because you started working on Boogas like 2 years and a half ago. But still, you know what I mean? It could have been possible to launch a meme coin with a story, with characters, with a complete artistic direction, but with a meme coin. So have you thought about that, or never? You are really focused on NFTs?
So I'm a strong believer in NFTs. I reckon every person in the world will be utilizing the technology at some moment in time. I reckon it's a very good tool for community building and creating that tight bond between people, between the community and the brand itself. It allows for a lot of, let's say, being able to incentivize the people, and also at the same time creating their brand around their particular IP, right? Like they can see themselves as those characters and then grow out their branding based on that. The reason we wanted to go with NFTs is just because of that closer bond, I guess. We can see that in meme coins, you don't really get that kind of close. You don't get attached to it so much, right? There's none of this kind of emotional attachment involved. So it's more on a superficial level. NFTs allow that deeper connection, right? And, I'm not saying what's going to happen in the future with everything we do. We want to adapt and we want to grow together with this space, and we'll look at different opportunities and see how we can evolve the brand. However, at this moment in time, we're not planning any tokens. We're just going to be focusing on the digital collectible side of things and growing out our products, growing out our story, growing out all of the different verticals that we have already planned for. And that includes all of the strategic partnerships that we have made outside of the chain as well, that will allow us to create cool activations. One of our most important goals is to actually reach outside of this bubble that we are in the MultiversX eco chamber, let's say. So that was the reason for that, right? And then we'll be creating a lot of cool activations via in real life events as well. So that should stir some, stir it up a little bit and get us noticed more. The reason for MultiversX as well is like we want to be the face of the chain. We want to do that connection, as you said, where people will immediately connect us with MultiversX. The truth is, at the moment, very few people know about the chain. They may know egld, they may know Elrond from the past when we had the all-time highs, but since then it was kind of hard to get noticed. And whenever we mentioned that we are launching on MultiversX, like 95%, if not more, don't actually know the chain, right? So it gives us, let's say, a possibility, a great opportunity really to become the face of the chain, as you mentioned, right? Because then that is like a superpower, especially once the chain becomes more known, right? It will be that connection, brand association through just positioning ourselves in that field, right? So if we manage to onboard a lot of people or kind of inform them about the chain, about MultiversX via our brand, via our story, then that connection will already happen in the minds of those people, right? So we're kind of slowly working towards that, but it takes a long time. Nothing happens overnight, and it needs to be persistent, and we've got a few ideas on how we can grow that even further. One of the things that we want to do is anyway.
Okay, just don't worry.
Let's go.
But I would like really, because don't forget that some people maybe don't know you yet and don't know Boogas. So let's maybe
true.
First, you and this is something that is pretty rare in the ecosystem. Most NFTs project, most meme coin projects, and maybe even like serious projects, if we can say like this, are just built in a few weeks. Okay, so you've been building Boogas for like 2 years and a half. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is something around that. So
yeah,
why did
James 3 years?
Okay, 3 years. So why did it take so long? And what were the key milestones during that time? What took the most energy? Because it's a long period of time for an NFT project. So I would like to know more about this 3 years of building.
Yeah, 100%. So the first thing that took the longest was working out what we actually want to become, what story we want to pass on, and how are we actually going to be able to grow this brand out, right, long term. So we looked at the long term picture, and then we reverse engineered that, thought about brand positioning, our taglines, the story, the lore, what we actually need in the whole collection, right? To actually make it a full, interesting play for all of our plans, right? So that was the first thing that took quite a long time to determine. We kind of studied the brands that were doing the best at the time, and we kind of ended up with two things that they've got in common. One is the inclusive artwork. So we really wanted to nail that so that, Boogas can appeal to young, mid-aged, and older people, from all generations. So that was super critical and super important for us. And we really wanted the story to be relatable, right? And we wanted to have a game plan. We wanted to have MVPs in place. We didn't want to think about, okay, what we are going to do after we mint. We wanted to have everything ready. We wanted to have MVPs in place. We wanted to have already something that we will be able to work on really fast, right? Because I guess being fast and deploying all your products in a timely fashion is super important, right? At the same time, we wanted to make sure that we will stay relatable. So that's the reason for the SoFi campaigns. That's the reason for the whole Booga Heights DApp for the community, right? So we're trying to plan it and carry it through so that we are able to achieve all our goals, right? And one of the important things is to stay relatable, stay, in the minds of the people, right? So that was there and then as well. Why it took so long as well is because everything it's a fully animated collection with not just one character, but there's 3 that we already announced, plus maybe more. So it's inherently not one collection, but it's 3 or more collections in one. There's 500 plus traits, 100 plus fully animated. So there was a lot of, let's say, thinking, a lot of trial, a lot of improvements along the way. Each animation consists of 26 illustrations, so it's like creating 26 standard PFP images. So it's 26 times the effort, because everything needs to align perfectly. When you're rigging the whole collection as well, there can't be any glitches, things can't overlap on each other, layering, and there's so much more to it, and it just takes a long time to be able to materialize it. And at the same time, we wanted to be at the right place, right time, so we had to wait a bit. Plus, at the end of the day, we had our account suspended, which also delayed us quite a few months. For those of you that don't know, we woke up one day and our account was suspended for no kind of big reason, as it happens on X sometimes. It was mainly due to just sending too many DMs, too many outreach DMs. But we kind of take that and introduce it into our lore and run with it, right? So that took an extra few months, which actually worked out for the better, because it put us in a better place, better time. So yeah, it all kind of added up. All of the trademarks, making sure that we're good on the legal side of things. It's the proper groundwork takes time, and the creating the culture around the brand was super important for us. So we wanted to delay it a bit so that it becomes more the norm, right? We wanted people already fully immersed in the branding and the culture and in the Boogas lingo and everything surrounding that, right? So yeah, I guess that kind of inherently is why it took so long. But I'm super proud of the whole collection, because it really is unique. Creating something unique in the Web3 space now, with so many projects out there already, is something super tough, not easy, and we have managed to achieve that, right? So yeah.
Thank you, ROK. And yeah, we understand this. And yeah, the suspension of the X account was a very hard thing to leave. And I wish this to nobody, even my worst enemy, like we say in French. But yeah, you did not give up. You continue building, and it was very cool. So maybe now let's talk about the mint. What were your initial expectations? Did you have a soft cap or a target in mind after more than like 3 years of building? Yeah. So what were your expectations? Because before the mint, nobody says it's normal, but after, you can say, okay, we thought it would be less, we thought it would be more. So what was the expectation?
Yeah, so there's always best case scenario, worst case scenario. However, I'm happy with where we are. I'm like, all of the people that bought at pre-sale, they bought at 3.5 EGLD. People are not selling for cheap; they are holding. So we've got a lot of Booga hands. I feel like all of the community members that we have so far really believe in the brands and want to be a part of it for the long term, which is super cool to see. That is definitely, that has exceeded my expectations. Actually, I was expecting more people to pay per hand and to leave. However, I'm really excited for that and really happy to have this base amazing community, right? So like there's not that many, let's say, new people at the moment, right? So far our efforts to be able to onboard new people have not, let's say, succeeded fully, but it takes time, you know. So it's not easy to onboard people to a new brand, and we have to onboard people to a new wallet, to a new chain, and to a new brand. So we need to achieve three things, right? So it's quite a difficult task. However, you know, with all of the with the plans that we have going forward, you know, it will take maybe slightly longer, but it's all stone by stone, and then eventually we will get there, right? But like priority now will be to grow out the community, foster a really good atmosphere, and just making sure that all of the community members so far that are actually loving it. We are managing to achieve that. You know, a lot of people are having fun finally again. A lot of people, you know, are excited about the journey, about the future, being part of a movement, and, you know, creating a legacy, right? So that is something super cool. Could we have, you know, minted out fully? Would I like that? Yes. However, I'm not that bothered about it because I know where we're going. I know what we will be releasing. I know kind of our plan. So that keeps me at ease. Because, you know, worst case, it just takes a little bit longer to achieve what we want to achieve. But what's truly important for me at the moment is that the people that are in are happy, and they are having fun, right? Like they are here for the long run. We are all kind of aligning. We're all, you know, we've all got our bounce and our steps. So that's super positive.
Yeah, definitely the Boogas army, we can say, is very active on socials.
Growing.
And yeah, it's very refreshing, to be honest, because there is so it's not just farmers, you know, we know them. These are real people. Okay, this is guys that are really involved in the project, and this is something that is really much appreciated even by the community, to see real persons and not just Nigerian or Indian, and like just farming for a few rewards. It's real persons, and they are creating real content, sometimes very creative content. So yeah, it is a very fresh, and so congrats for this. If we go back to the mint, you decided to allow the mint in Sol, but the NFT is not issued on Solana. So you can pay with your Phantom, so you can pay with Sol, the crypto, but the NFT will be issued on MultiversX. So there is a paradox, maybe in Solana's community eyes. So what, I can use my Sol on Solana, but I cannot receive my NFT on Solana, which is the blockchain I love. You know what I mean? There is a
yeah. I mean, you know, there's pros and cons,
so
right?
that's why I wanted to talk to you about that. Have you thought about bridging the collection, so enabling it to be cross-chain? I don't know if it's possible technically, or maybe if someone pays with Sol, he wants to get the NFT on Solana. Just asking, because I know you are very involved in Solana community. You know your partnerships. You have partnerships with Solana projects. So have you thought about that? And do you think it would have been better with this, or you don't regret? You want to be 100% on MultiversX?
So, was it a good idea? Yes, I believe so. We are not IP. We are not chain maxis. We're IP maxis. I guess, since we're here, gathered a lot of cool people, I can give you some alpha, and the alpha is drum drum drum. Most probably, and that is, I'd say, like, it's almost 100 time Boogas will be multi-chain, right? Like, so MultiversX is home. That is here we wanted to start. This is where we wanted to, launch and grow initially. However, the future caveman will not only be on MultiversX. Going back to your question, like, at this stage of growth, I didn't want to launch on two chains simultaneously, mostly because I didn't want to dilute efforts. I didn't want to dilute the collection onto two separate marketplaces that can't be joined together, etc., etc. There's a lot of, let's say, pros and cons in both. Short term, it would have been better, easier, because I'm sure more people would have minted from Sol. However, we are gearing everything towards the long term, and long term, it would have been a bad idea, at least in my opinion, to launch there. But as I said, going forward, like, there is a big chance that we will be multi-chain. I would say, like, almost 100%. The way I see it in the future as well is, like, people will not care if a project is on this chain, that chain, whatever. It will all be connected with each other, all will be omni-chain, and you will just go on one marketplace and you'll have everything together, same as we have with servers, right? So I don't see it becoming any different in the future. But until we get there, until the tech is fully established, we start with MultiversX because this is home, right? This is the reason why we wanted to build Boogas as well. We wanted to create something that a project that people can be proud of holding.
Because I remember a few months ago you challenged the 3 blockchains on X. It was about Ethereum, Solana, and MultiversX, and finally you decided that it would be on MultiversX. Was it a real choice, or was it a real question? I mean, it was just marketing to give strength to MultiversX ecosystem.
So I don't believe there was a chance for us to launch elsewhere, but at the same time we wanted to gain their feedback. Like, if all of the community members said, we don't want to launch on MultiversX, right, we wouldn't have done that. So it was like, we have already made that decision, but we wanted to listen to the community. We wanted to listen to all of the people and get feedback, right? Like, if at that stage we would have gotten like, no, do not launch on MultiversX, and like 90% of the community would be against it, we would have changed, right? Because that would be a bad decision then and there, right? So kind of like our minds were already made up, but at the same time, yes, we could have been altered by a majority of the community saying that they don't want us launching here.
Okay, thank you very much. So you've sold around 50% so far. It's a bit more now. I think we are more than 50. It's 1,100 ish, something like that. So congrats, by the way. It's not an easy task because there are not a lot of liquidity on MultiversX. Each mint is $100, so 7.5 EGLD, I think. And you are fighting with the secondary market because the floor price is a bit lower. So people who want to get a Boogas NFT, they have the choice, or they mint it or they choose it on the marketplace. So what's and it is not a Boogas issue, it's an NFT issue anyway, and it's even a Web3 issue because it's pretty much the same when you issue a token, when you issue an NFT. So what's the best? To wait for the listing, or to buy on the secondary market, or to buy like early at the launchpad, for example, or to mint? So this fight between first and secondary market is not new. So
100%.
Yes. What's your? What is 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 your? you will not reveal the strategy because you cannot, and it would not be a good thing for you to reveal the whole strategy, because the community and the market needs surprise, needs innovation, needs all of this. But so far, what have you put in place since the launch of the mint to try to win this fight against the secondary market?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to one simple fact is like, if mint on via our app, you get the full experience, right? You get the animations, you get the random booga from the ones that have been not minted yet. There's a lot of rare ones there. There's a lot of really cool boogas, so you're not really knowing what you're getting. And like me personally, I love that experience, right? So that is something that I can recommend to everyone. So far, what we have put in place, we did a raffle for buybacks for under 7 GLD, and that was concluded today. We announced the winners this morning. We have also introduced a buy 5 get 1 booga free, and at the same time you must actually hold the same amount in your wallet. So let's say, and as an example, you minted 5, and on the time of the snapshots will be every Monday. You need to hold 5 in your wallet as a minimum. They can be different boogas, but it needs to be the same amount, and then you'll get airdropped one free booga. And that goes back to the start of the mint. However, it doesn't include pre-salers, because pre-salers had a different price anyway. So it's only for those that minted. So it should incentivize more minting, and at the same time, kind of make everyone feel appreciated from the first time, all of the supporters of the brand, right? What else we're doing is we're doing buybacks on secondary, right? This is to show our confidence as well in the brand. We have no problems in that. I believe if someone wants to leave the brand and he doesn't want his digital collectible, he has the right to do so, right? So I'm not going to be chasing people and say, hey, why did you sell for 5 GLD? Like, why are you doing that? I'm totally against that. If someone really wants to leave, he can even DM me if you want to leave for free gold, whatever. I'll happily buy that NFT from you, because I believe in the brand. I believe in the long term as well. I actually bought 22 in total, just my personal investment so far. I'll probably mint more this before Monday, but that's just me. But we've got more ideas planned as we go, but things will be released in stages, right? And there will be different activations going along to be able to carry through. One thing that we are totally against, that we absolutely dislike, is this kind of old meta where you need to sell out in the first few hours, and then if you don't, you start panicking, you start changing the numbers, you start reducing, etc. So we do not want to do that. We have a plan. We're sticking with that plan. We're confident that it will happen. If it takes slightly longer, it takes slightly longer. It's not an issue. But I don't see any reason why we should do that. The only thing, and there's one reason and one reason only why it's taking longer, and we're in this situation, is because of the current sentiment and the price of the EGLD token, right? Like, most of the community members in the ecosystem have bought eGold at very higher prices, right? So for them, $100 is a lot of money to be putting into a digital collectible. Maybe they don't afford it, or maybe they just simply think it's too much because they convert the 7 EGLD by $200 and they're thinking in their heads, okay, it's 1,400. So that is our biggest thing that we're working to solve. However, just wanted to remind everyone that we are not being greedy. $100 for this collection, what we have created, is really, really fair when you compare it to other brands. And it was the minimum that we need in order to carry through all of our ideas, all of our plans, right? So we have made a business plan on to how much we need to raise from the total mint, and then went with the smallest amount that we need in order to make sure that we achieve our goals. So we don't want to be coming back to the community, a few months from now and say, oh, we don't have any funds left. We need to, raise more funds in different ways. So it's all about us being able to carry through. So if you want, if people want us to be able to achieve and deliver, this is what we need to raise in order to make sure that we carry through and make all of our plans a reality.
Okay, I can see on X from some people who are asking what is the utility of owning a Boogas NFTs. It is very MultiversX, this kind of question. You don't find this kind of question on other ecosystem like Polygon or Solana or so on, when people are just buying either to flip, just to speculate, or just to be part of a family, be part of a community, and after they will maybe manage to get some benefits from owning this NFT. But on MultiversX, we have a different culture. People want to know the utility before. They want to know average how long to get profit of it. They want to have a clear vision of what will be given, what will be given back to the holders.
No problem.
So what do you answer to them when they ask you?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you saw it, I need to go search for it so that I can reply to it. I have not seen a reply like that, so I'll make sure to search for it. So far we've given back a lot. We have created 4 SoFi campaigns. So all of the Boogas, all of the people that invested in Boogas had a chance of getting back some funds via participation in our social finance campaigns, right? So basically repping Boogas. So it's not about just giving free money. I'm not for that. Like, if you expect to buy a Booga and just get money for free, that is not going to happen. We want to reward mostly, the people that are part of the journey and are helping us grow, right? Helping us reach more people. And at the same time, there will be different ways of getting, let's say, Booga points and becoming, different ways of achieving, let's say, points to be on the leaderboard, right? So we're working on that. We will be, allowing people to purchase different items at cost of production as well for clothing and our different MVPs that we're going to be doing, but that's going to come later. But inherently, what you're buying into is you're buying into a digital collectible of an growing IP project, right? So it's similar like buying Pudgies, Klenos, Chimpers, Azuki, Persona at an early stage and being part of the brand, right? But at the same time, we have given out so many, and we are all about, the better we do, the better the brand does, and the more we grow, the more we're going to be, kind of giving back in return to the community. But at the same time, we are not a project based around, you buying one NFT and getting lifetime free money, right? Because that is a business model that is never going to work. That is something unrealistic.
So the most important part for you, if I understand well, is to convince people that having a Booga NFT, just one is enough, is to enter a community, to be part of an adventure. But will there be any governance, shared governance by the holders? Will there be any, I don't know, like partnerships with potential airdrops? Sorry to be like, concrete, but some people are waiting for this kind of right, this kind of return on investment. So are you thinking about this, or you really don't want to promise such thing because
No.
it could not happen, or because it's not in the spirit of Boogas?
Yeah, so like we are all about creating dope experiences, right? Like when you participate in Boogas, you get a lot of dope experiences, right? Like we had the Booga trials, we had the Booga quiz. With even our pre-sailers, they got baby Boogas, which then grew up into real Boogas. The whole DApp experience is something really cool, right? So just participating in this, you are already receiving cool memories and experiences, right? Which in normal life people pay for, right? So you're already getting that, and you're part of the growing tribe and the growing brand, right? So that inherently already is a utility, right? Community, fun, and at the same time experiences is a very big utility that me personally I prefer over like a $2 airdrop. uh, will we be sending millions of dollars and free tokens and that kind of stuff? Reality is no. I believe that meta has already passed. That is not going to happen. That was the last kind of projects to do that have actually regretted it. Most probably, if you look at Doodles, let's say with Dude or Azuki as well, I'm not sure they're that happy about doing their token as well and airdropping it. The only one really succeeding at it is Pudgy Penguins with Pengu. The kind of meme coin meta has faded out as well. So I'm not expecting any huge airdrops from partners that will be able to just give out magic money. So yeah, that is not in the spirit of Boogas. And at the same time, for us, what's really important is not focusing on the floor price, not focusing on the monetary gains, etc., but it's focusing on the experiences, focusing on being part of a really cool community that you can grow in, that you can learn from, that you can simply be part of a movement as well. That's something super valuable, and sometimes even more, right? So we, like, again, just going back to this, I have been really surprised by how many people that I spoke with that have been in Web3 for like 3-4 years. And when I asked them if they've got a friend in Web3, or if they've met, if they've had some meaningful connection with someone, they said no. Like, because that's how superficial Web3 is. That's how kind of it works, right? So I want to create that deeper connections. I want to create that deeper level of community bonding through a target mission, through pushing Boogas forward and aligning everyone, right? And even on the timeline with on X, it's just become so boring, so kind of like, I don't know, just people don't really want to be a part of it anymore, right? So we need to do better. We need to make it more fun and more entertaining for people to actually want to be on X and want to be a part of this
And
journey.
it's not there's a I have two more questions, if you agree, my friend.
Yeah,
First of
sure.
all, it's not just about X. Some project have tried to market on TikTok, on Instagram, and try to outreach Twitter through these more animated and visual networks. So have you thought about investing some campaigns in those socials?
Yeah, 100%. So we have already four people that are going to be a part of the team for our Instagram. So we have already picked them. We have a collaboration already signed. It took me 1 year to come up with the final decision, final idea for the Web2 socials, right? So we've kind of nailed down on the target audience. We've nailed down the content, and it's going to be unique to Boogas, something different. So that is something that we will be pushing hard very soon. on, because like we can only onboard and we can only reach a limited amount of people on X, right? Like there's like 100 people here. So it's crucial to be able to grow outside, right? Like it's crucial to be able to do that. And with our story, with our IP, I truly believe that we've got a massive chance at doing so. And through in real life activations, through the brand ambassadors in different countries all over the world, like, you know, we'll be able to push the Booga movement and push our motto, which is put a bounce in your step, right? Like it's such a clear and easy way to understand the brand, you know, like put a bounce in your step today, you know, join Boogas, and with the right products, with the right marketing, and with the right approach, it can really stand out. And you know, we will not be onboarding people to Web3. We will not be onboarding people to MultiversX. We will be onboarding people to the story, to the IP, and to the characters, right, and to the products that we'll be launching. And it's super, super important and vital for the growth of the brand, and for any brand in that matter, launching via Web3, via digital collectibles. It's like at one stage you have to make that switch, otherwise you're just gonna suffocate and, you know, eventually just die. So yeah, we've got big plans for Web2 socials. 100%.
Last question for me is about the support from the ecosystem. So you've been supported and promoted by most KOLs, builders, and many core team members. So do you know if core team members decided to mint some Boogas NFT? We remember Benjamin Buchan publicly support and buy Bober meme coin, for example. So I think it could help the mint, but also the ecosystem to have a healthy mascot. We saw this on other blockchain, like for some like big founders buying NFTs, like we can see on Mega ETH. You know, I don't know if you saw the founder who bought, who were offered a personalized. It was a rabbit, and after it was another one anyway. So this kind of support can be interesting to inspire because they have a big reach on X. So yeah, can you tell us if you have any information about that?
So Robert minted the baby Boogas for sure. Lucian minted babies and claimed them as well. To my knowledge, Benjamin minted some Boogas as well. However, only Robert kind of posted about it. I'm hoping that Benjamin and Lucian post about it as well. Maybe they're just waiting for another different time, or they're just, you know, really occupied in different things. So I'm not kind of expecting it. It's not something that you know, I feel like we this, you know, kind of need. It would be nice, obviously, but to my knowledge, they have supported, they have minted. You know, Benjamin and Lucian had Tigers, Boogatooth as their PFP. Robert Sasu still has his Booga as a PFP. You know, so they did show, you know, support. They, you know, like at the end of the day, MultiversX is slightly more on the cautious side of promoting, minting and promoting, you know, people to buy, let's say NFTs, simply due to legal actions, right? So I fully get that as well. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, like there was quite a lot of let's say interactions from Benjamin with Boogas as well. So like they definitely want to help us. They want to support us, and I feel like they're doing everything they can that their, let's say, legal advisors told them that they can do. Right. So overall, we have received a huge amount of support from the ecosystem, but it all kind of comes down to the price of egld and the price of the mint, right? Which I'm fully aware of. However, it's just one of the things that we couldn't change because we need it to be at that level. And we need to raise funds in US dollars because, apparently a lot of people you work with, they don't like magic money. They like dollars. so we need to make sure that, we can't tell them, oh, take one egld. It's, it will be worth $500 one day, or 1,000. And they don't accept that. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Maybe a last question. It will be the word of the end. So, what motivates you to keep building in this space every day? Never forget, never fade, never give up. Sorry, never fade. That's a great motto, especially in this situation where we don't have certainties about the future. So, what keeps you motivated?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with your comment the other day. Is this kind of uncertainty of where we're going and what this can become? I think that is the main thing, right? Because if we knew exactly where we would be, it wouldn't be as exciting. And the thing I love most about being a co-founder at Boogas is the fact that I'm constantly pushing my limits. I'm constantly going outside of my comfort zone. I'm constantly, doing new things, working on new plans, and it's evolving, it's growing, it really makes me feel alive, right? So I guess I'm a guy that always needs to have something that he's working on doing. So growing out a brand is just perfect for me because, like, if I go and do nothing for one day, I'm already, itching, scratching, and like, okay, what do I do next? What do I work on, right? So I can't just simply do nothing. So it works perfectly for me. And the most beautiful thing, guys, like, honestly, this is something that very seldom happens. I've got a co-founder, James, that is exactly in the same position as I am, and we just complete each other so well. And that is our superpower. Honestly, that is one thing that I feel a lot of brands would
Would it be
really
possible to
need.
have him on the show someday?
Someday, I'm sure he will.
Would be great
Someday,
to have
I'm sure
another
he
face
will.
for once.
It's yeah, I know I'm getting old. I'm not as pretty anymore. And life has been tough
You have
on
some
me,
great tattoos,
these
by the
last
way.
years. Yeah, I just need to do like this. Yeah. No, but yeah, James has a plan of showing his face eventually. It's not. He's actually a really handsome young guy, so his face would be very beneficial
No, it's not
for the
about
brand.
that. It's about
Um,
how to embody a brand, for example, and maybe to bring some fresh talk, some fresh, maybe not a different vision, of course, but maybe a different way to express that vision. But
yeah, sure.
it's absolutely up to him. And actually, he can come on the show without showing his face. We have many speakers. Who don't. So it's not that.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
work on him in this
would be
case.
interesting because I can see him on X commenting, interacting, and being very active. But it would be great to have, of course, his journey and to share it
Agree.
to the
Agree.
community. Anyway, ROK, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for taking the time to answer all of my questions. I received some messages in private yesterday asking me to be nice, to be kind with you, and I said, "What the fuck? I'm always nice." And
Who was that?
I
Who
don't know
did you
if
get
I
a
will tell
message
you
from?
privately, but there was someone who cares a lot about you. But yeah,
I think I know who. I
what
think I
we
know
want
who.
on GM Web3 is not just saying everything is perfect, is not just saying
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's never
the
is.
truth is we want to know
It's
what
normal.
builders are building, how they are feeling, what are the problems they are encountering, and how they face these problems and obstacles. And in this regard,
Yeah.
you prove us during this hour that you have a clear vision, that you're not in a hurry, that you know it's not the first time that you encounter something that was not maybe planned this way, but you keep building. And so that's a great stuff for Boogas, for the brand,
Yeah.
and for the MultiversX ecosystem, which, in my opinion, needs
One
more guys like you.
one thing that maybe just an that I would like, everyone to do is have a look at all of the details of the collection. Have a look at how much time and effort went into crafting all of the characters, all of the traits, how it all interacts with each other, how it all works with each other. That is something really remarkable. If you go through, like on XOXNO with the different traits and just check how detailed the whole collection is, and we've only launched a small portion of the whole collection, right? And it already feels so complete. It's just that level of detail and that level of quality is something that we want to maintain for the brand. And I'll just end on this with, like, when you look at Apple and what the brand stands for, if they release another product, you already want it. At least the supporters of a brand would like to have it, because they trust that it will be of the same quality and it will give them the same kind of feeling as the previous ones that they have, right? So at Boogas, it's our utmost priority to release all of our future products to the same standard, to the same level as the digital collectibles, because that's what we're kind of aiming for, right? We are not aiming for mediocrity. We're aiming for the best, for our community, for all of the supporters of the brand, for all of the future holders, or people that purchase Booga items, right? So that is something that we can be truly proud of as a community. There is no kind of shortcuts here, right? And the whole story, it all matches up. And here you've got Booksy, the small dino.
It's
So
one of mine.
it's one of yours. Nice.
I like this one, and there is another one I like also. This one is very cool.
Yeah, I love the baby. I love the dad.
Yeah, I have the baby
You've got two
uh,
Booksies,
and and the
bro.
dinosaur, so it's very cool.
Nice. You were
Uh,
lucky. You're a lucky man. Booksy is quite rare. Yeah, but I love Booksy, and at the same time, the whole story, it will all kind of make sense later as well. Why we wanted other characters, why we kind of needed that in the whole story, just to make it more complete and more unique for all of our products going forward. But yeah, again, thank you very much for the conversation. Had a blast. We adapt, we grow, we take everything in, we take all of the feedback from the community. That is something that I'm super proud of as well, and that is how things are going to be always in the future. We may get things wrong at times, but like, we will make sure to get things back on track. We try different things, see what works, and then double down on those. We've got time, we've got a whole lot of dedication and a whole lot of passion for making Boogas a success. And one way or another, it's something that I always hear from other founders or other projects, is like, if you keep pushing, if you've got an end goal inside, and you don't give up, eventually you find the things that work, right? It's a case of just keeping going and having that kind of alignment, of brand alignment, so that you know where you're headed. But like, eventually you're going to reach there, right? Sometimes it takes shorter, sometimes it takes longer, but like, not giving up and being persistent, if you have a really good product. And guys, like Boogas is just so amazing, and the IP, the story, the characters, everything, that we are not giving up, never. And we will get to the end goal at some point, regardless of how long it takes or how it goes. But yeah, we keep pushing, we keep grinding, stone by stone, and yeah, stay boogish.
Thank you very much, ROK. Take care of yourself.
Thank
and,
you.
See you soon on
Bye.
GM Web3. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. So now we will talk about what's happening on MultiversX this last days. So feel free on the chat, of course, to tell us your opinion about what is happening. So we will first start by this news that we found yesterday. And I don't know if you understood clearly what it was about. So I made some research about it for you. And so, as far as I understand, MultiversX has joined the DREC Alliance alongside major players like, as you can see, you have Hedera, you have Ripple, you have Algorand, you have Cardano, you have Ripple and XRP Labs, and so on. And so the goal of this system, of this alliance, is to create a shared standard for decentralized key recovery. So it's supposed to make it easier and safer for users like you and me to regain access to their wallets without relying on a centralized services. So for users like you and me, this could mean fewer lost funds and a more approachable experience. For developers, for builders, it also opens the door to standard. It's very difficult to say. So standardized tools and better cross-chain compatibility. But what is important is how this announcement, how this integration can be interesting for MultiversX as a layer one. For me, the most important impact will be about networking, because for them, it's a way to sit at the table as other leading networks, leading layer ones, and to show commitment to open, interoperable infrastructure. That said, we need to nuance a little bit, because the practical impact is very limited for now, because DREC is in a very early stage, because it was founded like 1 year and a half ago, with very little adoption. As far as I know, it's only like used by something called Social Bank, and so it won't directly solve any MultiversX current challenges, like how user traction, developer activity, real interoperability with other chains, and so on. So the success of this system depend on whether wallet providers and apps actually adopt this standard. And yeah, so we'll see about that. So it's a good move for like long-term positioning, and I hope they will take this opportunity to build bridges with these like we say competitors. I remember at Proof of Talk, Danny Serb made a very like mean post toward Tezos, Hedera, and the other like panelist on the roundtable on which Benjamin was talking, and he said like when if I summarize, they don't know how to build. So after he deleted the post, but in this roundtable we had Hedera. And so it's not, in my opinion, the good way to critic and to be mean with other builders when at the same time you want to sit at the same table. So please, guys, think again before you post. Think again before you decide to criticize others, especially when they are bigger than you, way bigger than you. And yeah, I hope in this regard it will be interesting for MultiversX to sit at the same table as these very involved layer ones in the United States of America. So that's it for me. So if you have any question or if you have any opinion about that, feel free to share in the comment. And if not, I would like to talk to you about another topic. Um, a few, give me a second. Yeah. So a few weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago, Benjamin posted something about a clearer voice for the community, saying that at the same time, he will improve ideas and feedback through a form anyone can fill. And what is interesting, when you go on the MultiversX website, you have a pop-up, okay, that will appear to say your feedback. And of course, the link of the form was shared on social, so anyone now can fill this form and to give their feedback about how MultiversX could be better, how it could improve. Also, the second part of the post was about the two Telegram groups, MVX Feedback, a channel for constructive feedback, and MVX Boost to boost initiatives by the community, but also by them. These groups were created. I don't know exactly the result of this. We saw, of course, some people complaining from being blocked from these channels. I haven't heard any builders saying that he was very happy about these groups and he had some any answers. But I think it's too early for this. And about the MVX Boost, if you guys have anything to say about this, feel free to do it, because I'm not on this Telegram. I'm not sure that the MultiversX core team wants to boost my post. Anyway, and yeah, so in this regards, about this post, our friend Solver made a post saying that today is the day. Let's hear what are the proposals and feedback. So why yesterday? Because it was 2 weeks ago this post was posted, and we were expecting some answers or maybe some synthesis about all the feedback. So on the Telegram, the MVX feedback intern, I don't know who is behind, replied about this by saying, Benny mentioned from the outset that after 2 weeks have elapsed, the team will begin to review the feedback with the view to publishing answers at a later date after this initial analysis. So yeah, we could expect some like synthesis about all these feedbacks, and more important, of course, what is the answers of this from the core team members. So can't wait to have this feedback from the feedback, and of course we'll talk about it live. Another topic I would like to talk to you is yeah, maybe I would like to share you something pretty cool I found. It's I think you know him. It's our friend Kejet, who
Our spirit guide through the magical world of vibe coding, aka typing random genius into an AI and pretending you knew what you were doing all along. First things first, no complicated crypto wallets, seed phrases, or blood oaths. Just log in with your email using this fancy little thing called Galpa login. Boom, you're in. Faster than my last existential crisis. Which was 5 minutes ago. Now go to Vibe Studio and sign the transaction. Pick your AI weapon of choice. I recommend OpenAI, reliable, charming, and doesn't roast you like my toaster X did. Still miss her grilled cheese though. Now here's where it gets spicy. Type in literally whatever's bouncing around your big juicy brain. And boom, AI does the vibe coding magic. You want an app that only sends memes when Mercury's in retrograde? Vibe it. It's really that easy. Right now I vibe coded a classic Tetris game and it runs perfectly. So remember 1. Login. 2. Choose your AI bot. 3rd. Vibe prompt like a techno sorcerer. That's it. Welcome to Vibe OX, baby, where the code vibes you back. Why the hell are you not vibe coding right now, bro?
So congratulations to Kejet for this very cool video. So I remind you guys that VibeOX is a code gen tool that allow you to code any Web3 app on MultiversX just by writing in English. So you write the prompt and it will code for you. So it's very, very cool. Is it possible to vibe code a full DeFi protocol? I don't know what are the limits of VibeOX. So I haven't tried it, to be honest, but I have many friends of mine who tried it and who are enjoying what I can tell you is the product is very early, so there will be more upgrades very soon. But yeah, I think in the end it will be possible to vibe code a full DeFi protocol. Of course, you will need some real developers to make some audits or to check the code because it's all about security. But for now, you can code many like initiative like games and so on. So yeah, it's I think a good thing to raise the barrier to entry for coding and developing dApps. So it's pretty cool. And so I wanted to enlighten this very cool video Kejet made, as always, very fun and very intuitive thing. So congratulations to him for that. I also would like to enlighten AI Nexus, which is which has launched their iOS and Android application, and so they created, their users created 50K wallets through these downloadings. So congratulations to them for this. It's all about adoption. It's all about making a blockchain invisible. And I think it's the way to adoption, how to onboard thousands, hundreds of thousands of people without they know they are on blockchain. And this is what they're trying to do. So congrats. And of course, keep it up. Now I would like to share you a screen of our beloved CEO, which looks very happy to be in the United States of America. For builders of all kinds, for entrepreneurs and founders, if your goal is to move the world forward, build something people need and love, there is no place on earth like the United States of America. So Benny the American, this is the way I call him now. And about MultiversX in the United States, I made a post a few days ago, and I wanted to share you live my thought. It was, it was a few days ago. I haven't had a lot of replies on my questions, as you can see, uh, like nothing. So either people did not want to interact with my questions, or maybe they did not find any relevant answers. It's up to you to decide, but I would like to talk to you about this. And of course, if you have anything to share about this, feel free to do it on the chat. So my point in this post, it was to make like a state of the situation of MultiversX during their USA journey. So MultiversX has migrated to the US a few months ago. They make we can see that they registered the brand MultiversX in the United States of America last July, so it was like 1 year ago, and they decided after or during the election of Donald Trump, so it was 7 or 8 months ago, to go to the United States to discover this new ecosystem, to take profit of it, of course, and to grow. So I first wanted to say how this might be a good idea, because when you go to the United States of America, you can expect to access to a major Web3 ecosystem that if you stay in Romania or in Europe in general, you can reach like better and bigger Web3 VCs. You can also profit from a better regulation, maybe softer. Also, you have a bigger and faster moving user market. You have 330 million people that you can access directly. You also have access to a big visibility through international media, but also local media. The biggest crypto media are in the United States of America. We can mention CoinDesk and many more, like Cointelegraph and so on. Of course, they have people in the Europe, but when you are in the United States, you can touch them directly. Also, you can hire deep talent in tech, in growth, in marketing, in sales, and so on. So you can access to the best Web3 resources in the world in the United States of America. Also, you can make big partnerships with other blockchain, with big companies. Well, you have access to the best partnerships in the world, because the biggest companies in the world are in the United States of America. And also, of course, you can have access to the better infrastructure, like the cloud, the tools, all the legal setup. Everything is built in the United States of America. So in this regards, going to the United States, if you have the vision and the resources, of course, was a good idea. So 1 year or a few months now after, let's list what maybe we were entitled to expect from this journey. First of all, I would have waited from MultiversX team to deliver a US aligned roadmap, very clear about what they want, about what they do, with visible progress, of course, but to have a clear vision of what they want to do and what they really do. I also would have liked to see some early signs of local traction in terms of users, developers, integrations, new projects, new American community members, new KOLs, like something from the United States of America that says that, okay, the Minku's brother and the whole team there, they are doing things and we can see some signs of traction. Also, and this is important for MultiversX to be present at major events. So we can mention that Benjamin Minku will be there at Las Vegas in a few weeks. So it's very important for them to network. They were also at the crypto ball, the ceremony organized around the election of Donald Trump. So Benjamin went there. So it's important for them to keep being at these events. They were not there at ETH in Cannes, as far as I know. Well, okay, so I think it's important for them to be at this event because this is during these conferences that you can make the best deals, actually, because you can see the people who decides in a unprofessional context. So it's maybe easier to convince them to talk to you or to even decide to work with you in a way. Also, I would have expected from them to have a clear media coverage in the US press, on like some blogs, in some specialized press, on podcasts, on Twitter Spaces, on YouTube channels. I don't know. In the United States, everyone can be a journalist. Everyone can launch their podcast, their show, like I did a few years ago. And what is important for MultiversX is to see the Minku's brother being invited by US guys or girls so they can talk to a very new community. I think it's really it's not the case at the moment, or I haven't seen it a lot. Also for month, I would have expected some strategic partners, some investors onboarded. Yeah, would be great to have some news in this regard. I know this kind of deals take months, but anyway, even one would have been great. So we are still waiting for an American guy to embody MultiversX in the United States. So I'm talking, of course, about the new president of the foundation, which should be an American guy or an American-oriented guy anyway. So we're still waiting because for now, the company is still embodied by 2 Romanians. I don't have anything about Romanians, but when you want to penetrate a market, it's important to have people from this market in the team. So have you heard about any hiring of American guys in the team? I remember that we saw some job proposal for a BD or anything, but so far we haven't been introduced with any American new team members to penetrate this very new market for MultiversX. So we could also talk about the regulation. We could also talk about the possibility for American users to use X Portal, the card. We could also talk about the market signals, like about the token, some more TVL, some more liquidity. Anyway, all of this, to be honest, I haven't seen like any of these. So my question in this post was, do you have any of this? So maybe I missed some news, some announcement, but to be honest, so far I haven't seen anything except some pictures of Benjamin in front of a flag doing these things and showing an ad on Times Square. But all of this is just nothing. Just, sorry to say, it's just bullshit, just noise, but nothing concrete. And we'll speak about his interview on Craig podcast just after. So I'm not waiting for big numbers. I'm not waiting for something like completely and definitive, but just some signs. And actually, I am waiting for you to convince me that maybe I missed some things. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, and we have the pleasure, and it was not planned, so I like it, to welcome Davey, who wanted to take part of this conversation. Hello, Davey. What's up?
Hey, Jerem. Yeah, had 30 minutes, so decided to opt in.
You are welcome here. Did you want to maybe bounce of what I've just said about the progress in the United States, the visible progress, or you wanted to talk about anything else? Feel free. The mic
Yeah,
is yours.
not sure, like, what were you talking about? Yeah, I simply joined.
Okay, so just before you come, I was talking about a post I made a few days ago about the visible progress of MultiversX in the United States of America, what we were entitled to expect from them after 1 year if we consider the registration of the brand, and actually 7 months if we consider the time that they decided to move to the United States. And I was talking about media visibility, about hiring American talent, about reaching, of course, VCs, about any signs, any visible signs that things were moving and things was happening in the United States. Of course, I'm not talking about Benjamin taking some selfies in Times Squares and so on. I'm talking about visible and concrete signs of that, like, things are moving in a good way in the United States. So if you have anything to say about that, feel free.
Who knows, like, even if they started trying to build connections and trying to close partnerships, like, we know that it takes time. And yeah, it's not good, like, because they said a lot of times, yeah, we're working on things, things are processing, and we're gonna come with results. And like, for now, they didn't really come. So I don't know, like, we're simply here continuing to hope that they're able to start some momentum. But for them, it's something totally new. Like, they were never in the US, they never really pushed in the US. So you're basically a new company with like no connections compared to competitors, with no capital compared to competitors. And also, like, technically, like, yeah, we have Supernova that will put MultiversX in a competitive position, because currently, like, based on what the market needs, MultiversX is not competitive. So yeah, we can talk a lot about decentralization, number of nodes, but their market wants something totally different. So it wants speed, it wants cheap blockchains that are scalable. We are not fast currently. I don't know what they're currently focusing on in the US. I think, like, we know surely that they're trying to raise money, and on that, we don't know how they'll do that, because if they have tokens, they can't raise that much money because they don't own much. And other than that, who knows? Like, we've seen this space focusing a lot on trying to merge with traditional finance. So with Robinhood, with Kraken, with the stocks currently, like, we are close to the stablecoin bill that should happen soon. Not sure what their current plan is. So I really don't know. Like, we know that most of crypto, most of the things that are getting a lot of traction is connected to DeFi or finance in general. So even stable coins, for example. I don't know. We have something from X Money. We know that they're expanding to other things. We know that they made a partnership to issue cards in multiple countries. so we can expect them to focus in the US. But other than that, like some deeper plan, strategy, etc., we really don't know. It's a big question mark.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. But like, they, in my opinion, in 6 months, we could have seen at least one sign. So that's the point of my post. I know this kind of discussion and so on takes time. It's true. We know it, especially about raising funds. But I remember Benjamin talked about raising funds. The first time he talked about it was in my friend's podcast, Benjamin from the Crypto Daily, a French media, and it was in June 2024. So it was 1 year ago, and we haven't heard anything about this. So it's not about being bearish. It's not about being bullish. It's about being trying to be neutral about what we could expect 1 year after, and what we have when we 1 year after. And when I heard, I don't know if you, and we will now speak about the interview of Benjamin on Craig O podcast. Have you listened to it?
Yeah, not really. Like usually these interviews, I already know the things because of my connections, or like Benjamin is always too vague. Like I prefer listening to other people. So maybe technical ones, or Lucian, the times that he gets into interviews. I don't really like the style of Benjamin. Like it's not really worth my time, let's say it this way, because I already know the things, and even if there are some small alpha, they are extremely vague, and we already seen that most of the times there may be some hypotheticals. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So I don't know why, but I keep watching his interviews. I don't know. I am waiting maybe for a change of tone, for some word for the builders or for the investors. But actually, it's never about them. It's always about him. Always about we are building. Always about. It's hard, but we keep building. About we are the best layer one in the world. So yeah, so but I keep listening to him because maybe one day I will be positively surprised, and I will of course say it. But to be honest, and I had a discussion yesterday with Stefan, who found that the interview was a blast, that it was amazing, that Benjamin was absolutely dope, and that Stefan learned a lot of things in this interview. And yeah, I said, what did you learn? What was new? And he replied, we have a full, a very clear roadmap, like Andromeda, Barnard, and Supernova. Okay, so we know this for years now. It's about the X portal token. So Benjamin said it will be soon, but not now. Okay, it's about X money saying that like we are ready, but it will be soon. Okay. So anyway, all the topics was about that. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but I spent and I took 1 hour and a half to listen to it, expecting not big numbers, not a great announcement, but yeah, maybe something concrete, some signs. And actually, I was again a bit disappointed, despite the work of Craig, who really asked the good questions. So it's not about him, in my opinion. But yeah, the answers was you said vague. I would say empty, but I think it's pretty much the same. But maybe this interview was not for us. Maybe it was for like a broader audience. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I want, like, I like to think at blockchains as B2B infrastructures. So the actual end user are not retail, but usually like businesses, builders, etc. So when you're talking about technical improvements, it's in the interest of investors only because it maybe can increase the chances of increasing the number of clients that you have. So at the end, like since you are a B2B SaaS infrastructure, the only thing that matters is for you to close deals, to attract builders, to have a lot of integration from big companies. That's all that matters. Like, yes, and of course, those clients like generating some revenue for the infrastructure. So I don't know, like I understand their focus on saying, yeah, we're improving the network, we're improving the product, so it becomes more attractive for builders. But at that point, it seems to me that they either don't know currently, like with what they have now, how to attract builders, or and maybe also they think that by improving the infrastructure and making it competitive, they can finally be able to attract some builders. And also the question is, what are builders looking for? So what is the market looking for? And it's not easy. Like if you're a builder, why would you choose MultiversX or even any other chain? It's not only about technical advancements, like and the technical properties of the chain. Like as a builder, you want a chain where you decrease the risk because you have a company and you want to have the higher success chances. You want the chain to be reliable. So for example, the act that we had, what it is, 1 month and a half ago, is really bad from an outside perspective. You want a network effect because once you build on the chain, yes, maybe MultiversX is better, but maybe building on another chain that is worse from a technical point of view, but has bigger, like higher capital, better connections, maybe increases the chance of succeeding. So from a startup point of view, it's really difficult to attract builders because it makes sense for them to go to Solana, to Sui, to all those other chains because they have more users, they have more capital, they have better connections, they have better integrations. Maybe it would make sense for bigger companies that are maybe looking for specific infrastructure for their needs, but even that is not easy. So it's not an easy problem to solve. Like the opposite. It's probably, and this is the reason why you have a ton of chains with ton of money. They still are not able to succeed. So we've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Polygon, even how it's called, Polkadot. Like Polkadot spent $100 million in marketing last year or something like that, and it didn't move nothing. Like they're not succeeding. So what is the issue there? Like if you say, like I've seen Sazu talking a lot about, yeah, the problem is with money, money pay for everything, but then you have a lot of chains with a ton of money that are not moving. Like you have EOS with that 1 billion in treasury, they're doing nothing. We had Egen Layer with their own infrastructure and things, still is not succeeding. Like they're not generating any revenue. Celestia, like Polkadot, as we said, most of these chains are not really generating any substantial revenue or even ecosystem growth. So you could say now they're not having a lot of adoption, but like a lot of revenue, but they're in growing adoption, and so they'll generate revenue in the future, which is something that is really normal in the fintech industry or in the SaaS industry. Like Uber is still not profitable, for example. At the same time, like if you're not seeing currently growth in the ecosystem, there are valid concerns on what is the actual strategy to attract them. So if it's solely from a technical point of view, fair, but what if it's not enough? So wasn't the chain already competitive before? Maybe like if you're focusing that much on the technical side, you're basically admitting that the chain wasn't really that much technically competitive. Otherwise, what was the issue? The money? Then in that case, the question should be, if the issue is only money, are you able to raise enough money to compete with others? But I'm not sure that the problem is actually money. They can surely help. Maybe they're part of the equation and needed, maybe, but it is not enough. Or you would say that most of the chains with huge treasuries would already be successful, and is not the case. So I don't know, like, how would you solve that? Yeah, you say you criticize a lot. Like, if you were in them, what would you do?
It's a tough question because we don't have all the elements, but we know what are the main problems of MultiversX at the moment, in my opinion. Interoperability, centralized stablecoin, lack of awareness and reputation. So that's the way. But yeah, it's I think the diagnosis is pretty simple, but what we see is all the mistakes. But about the solutions, we don't have enough element, unfortunately, to think and to be in their shoes. But what we see is we don't have any signs of any positive signs. So it's pretty normal as stakeholders, and I haven't said shareholders, to ask question and to try to figure out what's happening in the USA. That's the way. We'll see. We'll see, of course.
Like, something else that I'd say is you're seeing them focusing a lot on the US. If you see, for example, Tether and the strategy, what they're saying is a lot of people are focusing in the US, and we think the opposite. So we're betting on focusing on third world countries because that's where we see the actual opportunity. Like, for example, if we see Tron, like Tron, most of the activity, most of the revenue, people don't know about Tron, at least in crypto Twitter, but they're doing massive revenue, and it all comes from people simply exchanging Tether, like USDT, from one account to another, and it happens in third world countries, so South America, Africa, some countries in Asia, and that's it. So I heard like some interviews from Paolo Ardoino, like the CTO of Tether, and what he says is we are seeing a lot of stablecoin companies focusing on the Western countries, while most of the adoption for stablecoins is happening in third world countries. So we also need to see if, like, firstly, what is the strategy? What do they want to focus on? Like, is stablecoin one of these things that they want to focus on? Is stablecoin the play that they want to play with its money? Another question is, once its money will have its own stablecoins, will they settle on MultiversX or on multiple chains? This is also important. From a marketing point of view, and also like company growth, will they focus in the US, and so it's a specific market, or will they focus in third world countries, and so trying to replace Tron, for example? Like, we have companies on Base, on Solana that are trying to replace Tron. It makes sense. Like, Tron is expensive, is not scalable, so it would make sense for other blockchains to replace Tron. It's not easy because Tron has first mover advantage. They did a lot of marketing, a lot of growth X.
They have
to achieve that.
Big adoption in Asia. They have a lot of money, but I think you follow the stable blockchain from very close to Tether, who wants especially to take some market share in Asia, because it's complicated for Tether to have their USDT on ton in terms of LCBFT and so on. So that's why they want maybe to master more the blockchain on which they are circulating. So stable is the blockchain they invested a lot in this regard.
Yeah, stable and Plasma. Like, Plasma is the layer 2 on Bitcoin. And like, the point is, their strategy is not to focus on Western countries, but to focus on third world countries. Currently, from what I'm seeing, at least from a communication point of view, we are focusing on the US. So it's a totally different market, and I'd say is not validated. So if we're talking about stablecoin adoption in Western countries, it's not there. Like, it's not there. in any way that you want to see it, no one is using stablecoins in Western countries. The actual stablecoin adoption is happening in third world countries. So it was like Argentina, like 30% of people already use stablecoin. We are not even close to that. Like maybe with a stable, like in the Western countries, people only want to speculate on blockchain. In third world countries, they're using blockchain. And it makes sense, like, because in those countries, they're not banked, they don't have a financial infrastructure, they don't want to be exposed to their own local currencies. And so it makes sense for them to have easy access to the dollar, to exchange that from one country to another, from one business to another. So another question that I'm asking myself is there current strategy to focus in the US an actual successful one? Like this, I'm talking about X money. Because for stablecoins, we are not really seeing much adoption, but it could change because we have regulation, we have MiCA, so MiCA could change things. Also, another thing that I'm asking myself is I've watched the first interview with Greg on X Money, the one when he talked a lot about Sui, and he was really bullish on MiCA and expanding stablecoin adoption in Europe. It makes sense, like it's not validated, so we don't know if it will actually happen. They could be a first mover, great thing.
Actually, I am, for example, we can mention Forge. Forge, which is the blockchain entity from La Société Générale, which is one of the biggest French and European bank. And they issued a euro stable coin a few months ago. And now they decided to issue a dollar stable coin since they know that in the Europe, the euro is used, of course, but outside of Europe, nobody uses euro. And even in Europe, many actors are using dollar in the transactions. So the RON stable coin and the euro stable coin, does they have any future when we consider the strategy of the EBC with the CBDC, which is completely a competitor to any stable coin? So maybe it will just be about stable coins in dollar and CBDC for the yuan and for the euro and so on. So maybe this is the environment of currency for the next years. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like we surely don't want a CBDC because it gives too much power to governments.
Definitely.
It also brings another concern that I have. Like we've seen Sazu being extremely public on his ethics. So he's pro total neutrality. He's against the government. He's against government control. He's extremely libertarian, at least like from a communication point of view.
But a big believer.
Yes, exactly. And this strikes a lot with the actual strategy of X Money. So X Money is building a completely regulated stablecoin in Europe, so under MiCA. MiCA actually needs 60% of your treasury to be held, deposited in European banks. So you are exposed to the financial system. So this means that if the bank goes bankrupt, you're basically losing most of the value of the stablecoin because you don't have insurance of over X amount of money. Like you would have to pay for extremely expensive insurance. You also, like, I'm not sure, but there are some legal difficulties in sharing the yield with the people using stablecoins, which is something that is happening in the US, or at least they are working on this. So a lot of limitations. Their MiCA regulated stablecoins are really like highly controlled by the government, like by the European government. So I don't know. It also goes against what MultiversX, or at least Sazu, which is the only one public on X. It goes against what Sazu stands for. So it's also a conflict.
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't thought about it, but you're definitely right. And it's the same when I see Danny Serb attacking other layer one at proof of talk, and just after Lucian and Benjamin trying to sit at the same table as Hidera, for example, in the direct alliance. So it's something like, okay, guys, please think twice before you post, because it can create some conflict. So what you say about Robert's position, ethic, philosophical, political, religious, all of these things. It's not just about you, Robert. It's about you as the most public person on MultiversX, except, of course, the two co-founders. So I agree with you. It's interesting. I hope it will not be a problem in discussions between X Money and the EBC, for example, or any partners anyway. I hope it won't, because these are two different entities, but X Money belongs to MultiversX anyway. So we'll see. We'll see.
We don't know. Like, we don't know what are the connections now. And yeah, like what I see is the founders have some specific ethics, or at least vague ethics, though we don't really know what they stand for. Sazu, on the other hand, have pretty clear ethics and principles, etc. Like, so he's a cyberpunk, he stands for crypto principles and all these things. But a lot of times we've seen decisions made by MultiversX going against what Sazu stands for. So we could say, at least from a perspective, that the founders are not really, I don't know, I see some team members, and so we're talking about Sazu, not really aligned with what the founders stand for. So when we saw, like, we know Sazu is against arbitrary decisions, is against inflation, is against centrally controlled decisions. When X Money Trust was acquired by MultiversX, and they decided to increase the supply without asking anyone, this goes against everything that Sazu says every day. So it shows that the founders of MultiversX didn't really care about that. Sazu, on the other hand, cares about that. So usually when you have team members of the same company that don't align on values, that don't align on the mission, or the mission is not really clear, is not good. Like, usually you want a clear vision, a clear values, clear principles, so that you build towards that, like, other than the salary, other than the, like, whatever it is, like the success of the company. Like, you want the success of the company because you believe in this, in that, and in that other thing. But when you say that you believe in this as a personal individual, so Sazu talking on X, and then you have your own company doing some decisions that go against that, there are some problems. Like, even as you said, like Danny Serb saying, yeah, in this panel we have only two serious companies, and then you have MultiversX joining the ROK Alliance with some of the companies that he said they are basically scammers. There's something that is not working. I'm not listening you. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Danny, to be fair, he deleted the post after I quote tweeted it. But in the comment, we can see that he confirms, saying, if you had listened to what they were saying at the table, I could have said worse, something like that. But anyway, it's all about communication and to pretend that you are better than others, even though you haven't proven yet that you are. But it's not new, unfortunately.
Yeah, like, the problem is, if you're doing some type of virtue signaling, you decided to do that. So maybe you decided to stand out because of your decentralization, because of your principles. So maybe, for example, we knew that at some point MultiversX was against the casino, against the meme coins, against the pure speculation. And this was like 2 years ago, when Solana started having this like insane meme coins adoption. And then at some point they started naming everything's meme coins. They started saying, yeah, we want that, even to the point of supporting and trying to artificially create some meme coins activity on chain. So even there, like, it shows a lack of integrity in the actual things that you want. And it's not bad. Like, if you are saying, yeah, all that we want is adoption on chain and we are good about the properties, then you need to stick to what you say. Otherwise, once you say something publicly, and so you say, for example, we are against pure speculation, we are against meme coins, we are building for real value, then you can change your idea and say, yeah, now I want meme coins adoption because I see basically, like, the reason was that they were seeing a lot of activity on other chains. But even there, like, you need to understand the market. If you look at Solana, why Solana has a lot of meme coins adoption? Because it's a chain that is fast, and because it's a chain that is extremely attractive for market makers and liquidity providers. So you need MEV. If you don't have MEV, you can't even hope. Like, you don't even have a 1% chance of meme coins adoption to happen on the chain, because the actual adoption that is happening on Solana happens for the market makers and liquidity providers that extract from users. And if you are against that, if you're against power user extracting from retail, then why are you even trying to push for meme coins adoption? So it goes against what you say you stand for. But at least this is what we know from Sazu, because Sazu is the only one that is extremely public about the opinions. And in some ways, we lean towards believing that Sazu opinion, Sazu position is MultiversX position. But over time, I came to the conclusion that what Sazu stands for is not what the company stands for, even if the communication only comes from Sazu, which is another issue. Like, because most of the community was built on Sazu principles shared on X, or not.
Yeah, I remember he used to come in this show before when he accepted to discuss and to have open and free discussion. But actually, he decided one day to stop coming despite my invitation. It's okay. You know what? If you don't speak, we speak for you. And after, don't complain, not to be understood clearly. Thank you very much, Davey. It was a pleasure to have you for these minutes and to have this chat with you. I hope everything's fine for you and for Hatem. And thank you very much, Hatem, for the support of GM Web3. And see you next week for a new GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX, unfiltered, uncompromising, and yeah, trying to be objective about what's happening and to bring value to the community. Thank you very much, Davey.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the opportunity.
Anytime.
Great talk.
Take care of yourself.
Have a nice day.
So this show is over. Thank you for attending. Don't forget to like, to post, to repost, to comment, to activate the bell, and so on. It's very important for us. See you next Wednesday for a new GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX with new guests, new topic, and everything. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.